All right. Good morning, Chair Postman, members Garrett and Bollendroff, and staff. The virtual lobby is open. The in-person physical lobby is also open, and the recording has started. We're ready to go.
Great. Thanks, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. We will convene the Liquor and Cannabis Board Caucus meeting for Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. This is our first hybrid meeting, which means we do have a physical location here at the LCB headquarters in Union in Olympia. And just for the record, nobody's here but Dustin and I. But board meeting tomorrow, executive management team tomorrow afternoon. And just as a reminder, from here on in, for the foreseeable future, at least, we will always have a physical presence here if someone is unable to join remotely or would rather not. Our first item today is board meeting prep and a rules update. And I will turn it over to Dr. Hoffman to take us through. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Mollendroff. Not a big rules update this morning. Only thing I do want to offer on the social equity rules is we are going to wait a few more weeks before we bring a revised CR 102 package to you. So it'll probably be either the first or second board meeting in July that we have that work done and we're ready to share and propose and discuss that work with you. And then also wanted to give an update on just to remind folks we are having our 5th deliberative dialogue this afternoon at 1:30. Really looking forward to that conversation. It will be impaneled by Dr. Carlini, Dr. Shower, Jillian Shower from CANRA, and then also Steve Frang with, I believe he's with Spokane Public Health. Don't quote me on that. I didn't write down his affiliation, but I know that he's worked very closely with us in the past on matters of public health with respect to THC compounds. So we're really looking forward to that conversation, and that'll be the end of the deliberative dialogue series for that work. And then one final update on our engagement models with the rules program, and I have shared this with all of you, but wanted to share it here in Caucus more broadly. And I did share it at the WACA conference last week. We're going to be retiring the listen and learn model and moving into more of a rules workshop model following the listen and learn session that Robert will be hosting around the THC compound rules work in July. So more details to come on that, but just wanted to give folks a heads up that we're going to change that engagement model slightly. It's still using the same collaborative, appreciative inquiry approach that we've used previously, but kind of remodeling it in a way that I think is more responsive to what our stakeholders are interested, how they're interested in engaging with us. I think we've gone line by line before. I think we've come to a place that we don't necessarily have to go into that level of detail anymore with our licensees. We've really increased the way that, or I should say, they've increased their ability to engage with us in meaningful ways. And we want to find ways to do that that's a little more responsive to what their response type is at this point. And also, listen and learn was really hard to do in a virtual environment. I mean, there's no question about that. That's absolutely a face-to-face model. And so we're thinking that the workshop method might be a little more appropriate for this hybrid environment as well. So any questions there?
Could you just give me a little hint? How will it be different? How will I know that it's rules workshop versus listen and learn?
So listen and learn really was a highly facilitated model where we go piece by piece through each section of rules and people could respond. And what we were finding is people were giving us general comments about the entire rule set, especially in the virtual environment. So if we go to a workshop model, it'll be, and this is all in the formational stage right now, but it will be more rule staff offering the entire rules package, the entire conceptual draft rule, kind of talking about what the rule does and how it does it and what we're thinking about it, and then providing a way for people to respond as a whole rather than to section by section. And there will still be an opportunity for engagement back and forth between rules coordinators and attendees, and perhaps even between attendees, but it isn't going to be as heavily facilitated as the listen and learn model was.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sure. And that model, just as a side note, was designed really to encourage stakeholder engagement. And I think we can say in the last year, we've seen a real increase in stakeholder engagement. So mission accomplished. Let's go on to the new model.
Yeah, great.
So with that, I'll hand it over to Audrey to provide a briefing on what she'll be presenting tomorrow in the hearing. So thanks, Audrey.
Thanks, Kathy, and good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Vollendroff. So as Kathy said, I'll just provide some brief background in preparation for tomorrow's public hearing on the CR 102 rule proposal related to electronic transmission of documents for service and filing. So the CR 102 and proposed rules on this project were approved by the board on May 11th, and the comment period is currently open until end of day tomorrow, June 22nd, excuse me. We haven't received any comments so far on the proposed rules, although the version, before the board approved the proposed rules, we did do stakeholder engagement and shared the conceptual draft rules publicly, which the language in the conceptual draft and the proposed rules is the same actually. So in summary, this rule proposal would create a new section authorizing service and filing of documents by electronic transmission, and the electronic transmission would be an additional means for service and filing of documents. The proposed rules define electronic transmission as including but not limited to email, web portal, fax, or other similar methods, and the proposed rule also outlines procedures for service and filing of documents by electronic transmission and describes how the date and time of delivery or receipt will be determined. And this new rule section is needed to streamline and modernize business and adjudicative processes and bring a consistent approach to the issue across the agency. We also anticipate that this approach would benefit anyone that interacts with the agency, as well as reduce potential impacts to the agency technology systems modernization project, or SMP. In terms of timeline, after the public hearing tomorrow, we will meet with the project team to review any comments that we receive. And again, we haven't received any so far, but the earliest that the CR 103 could be filed would be July 6, 2022. So that would be the next board meeting after tomorrow. And if the rules are approved at the July 6th meeting, then they would take effect 31 days later, which would be August 6th. So that's all I have to share on that project today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Seeing no questions. Thank you. Now I think we will hear from the cannabis side of the room. No?
Yeah, I just wanted to share, Chair Postman, we really don't have any updates at this point other than Jeff will be bringing, I believe, the 103, Jeff, for the implementation of House Bill 1210 at the board meeting on July 6th, right? That's still on track, right?
Yes, that's on track for July 6th. That's
okay.
correct.
Right, and we continue to work on the THC definitions with the ultimate goal, I think I might have mentioned, for the last listen and learn session that we'll be hosting on July 14th.
Okay.
Right, and that's the end of the rules update for today.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
For that.
Thanks, Jeff.
Which takes us to our last item, which is board member and executive assistant reports. We'll start with.
It's just nice to be back in the office. It's you know, a lot of work getting this put together, but it's good to see some faces. You know, even though they're few and far between, it's still good to see faces and get out of the house a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thanks to you and the IT team that worked with you for getting this set up and working. I know it didn't just plug and play, so took some tuning, but it seems like we've got it. Member Volendroff, anything to report today?
Nothing to report. I'm at the NCLSA conference in Kansas City right now and learning a lot. And yeah, actually, I'm really glad that I came as a new board member. It's been really enlightening to me. So I appreciate being here.
Great. I haven't made it to that yet, so maybe when you're back, you can give us a little report on what you heard. Member Garrett, anything to share today?
No, and David, I actually, my first year on the board went to that conference and it was very informative. So glad you were able to go. And you are, I don't know what the weather's like there, but it looked like we are finally getting ready to get our summer here.
I saw that. I'm taking credit for bringing the weather back because it's like in the low 90s here. Although it
Oh,
looks like it's
wow.
gonna be bringing it back with.
All righty.
Yeah, I'm not so sure we're getting the weather they've promised us here, but you know, could happen still. Okay, that's our agenda today. Thanks again to everybody who helped get us up and running here. We'll be back here tomorrow at 10 for the board meeting, and then we have executive management team in the afternoon. So until then, we will adjourn the board caucus meeting for June 21st, 2022. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody.